What up, y'all? It's your boy Linus checking in once again. This is the Virtue.News Sports Show. You know how we do. We covering the NFL. This is the Week 5 recap. We had a crazy week of football in the NFL. And we're going to go over the 6 games that we were talked about last week that we were going to do in the Week 5 preview. We're going to recap those games. We're also going to talk about some of the top news stories in the NFL. We're going to talk about Joe Flacco being traded to the Bengals, Dak Prescott, how he's playing, Jerry Jones flipping off some of the players in New York, and some of the crowd in New York. We'll talk about Jonathan Taylor as well. And we always do our top 5 MVP rankings through Week 5 in this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. First thing we like to do is just let you guys know that we record this show live in the Fanbase audio room. So if you guys ever want to be a part of the show, you guys ever want to listen in to the live recording, please make sure that you download the Fanbase app and you join the Camp Virtue.News Sports. And then you also follow at said Linus so that you will be notified when we go live. And also this show is sponsored by Virtue.News, which is the online publication, the greatest online publication in the world. Make sure that you continue to log on to Virtue.News. Okay, so let's start. And luckily, I started off with my favorite team. Y'all know I'm a 49ers fan. Started off with the Thursday night game with the San Francisco 49ers going up against the LA Rams. And look, I'm going to tell you, I actually picked the LA Rams to beat the 49ers in this game. I thought the way the LA Rams, their offense was clicking, I thought this would be a very easy game. Now, not saying that the LA Rams is a better team than the San Francisco 49ers as a whole, but the way that we are injured, do I have to go down every week? I feel like I'm going down the list of how many players we have out. And, of course, we had Brock Purdy out, Ricky Pearsall out, Jennings out, Kittle out, Nick Bosa is out for the season. I could just keep going down the line. So, with us being banged up, I did think that the LA Rams were going to be able to beat us. And beat us in a fashion that I didn't think this game was going to be close. But maybe I underestimated how good of a coach that Kyle Shanahan is. Or maybe it's not that. Maybe really in San Francisco, they really have the next man up mentality. And that might just be what it is. Because the way that Kendrick Bourne played, the way that Mac Jones stepped in and played, the way that, Christian McCaffrey looked better in this Ram game than I've seen him in a very long time. He looks like he's reaching like mid-season form. And he played very well. I'm going to give you guys a few of the stat lines from the game. We had Mac Jones, 33 for 49, 2 touchdowns, 342 yards. Matthew Stafford, 30 for 47, 3 touchdowns, 389 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 22 carries for 57 yards. But Christian McCaffrey, most of his hold on one second. I always get a call every time. I go live. Always. It never fails. I'm always getting a call. But Christian McCaffrey, most of his impact is not coming from the backfield and running. Most of his impact is coming from catching and receiving and catching those passes out in the flat and getting all of that yards after catch. And then Kendrick Bourne, he had 10 receptions for 142 yards. I think this was a great game because the San Francisco 49ers realized that they can actually not only beat teams when they're not healthy, but that when they are healthy and get healthy, the hope of how good this team really can be is back to, I'm going to say like Super Bowl prospects. Coming into this year, just looking at the paper, looking at the depth chart, looking at the roster, I don't know if I saw Super Bowl contenders, but the way they beat the Rams, I think they are, especially when they are healthy. And it's not like the Rams, it's like the Rams play bad. It's not like the Rams were like stunk it up. You know what I'm saying? They played a very decent game, but there was two big things. I mean, the fumble by Williams right before the goal line, and then the defensive stance we had at the end of the game. They're trying to get the first down, and they needed that yard and weren't able to get it. Our defense still holds very strong. And so I really like this game for us. I really think that this was a big win for the San Francisco 49ers ego. I think, and this was a great Thursday night game to actually kick off the week 5 week. So big shout out to the 49ers, and the LA Rams are still a really good team. But sometimes when you have that inter divisional games, you know what I'm saying, anything can happen. Let's go to the Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks. Both of these teams were 3-1. Tampa Bay was able to pull it out over the Seattle Seahawks 38-35. And let me tell you, this game was like, I don't know, man. These were some gunslingers in this game. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of common theme I am seeing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And don't get me wrong, I do really like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they have a well put together team. But there's a little theme that's going on with them that I think they need to tighten up on. Their offense starts very slow in the first half of games. Now, when they played against the Eagles, I think that's the reason why they lost. They started so slow. In this game, they ended the game with 38 points, but they only had 13 in the first half, and really only had, what was it, 7? I think it was 7. But they scored a touchdown kind of like right before halftime. Seattle also scored too, but it was a couple scores right before halftime. Tampa Bay can't be starting off slow. Their offense can't start off slow like that, especially against very good teams that they're going to have to face, especially if they face these teams in the playoffs. But that's a common theme I think they need to pick up on. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold both played in Carolina for a little stint. They both look great. They both look like the quarterbacks that they were drafted to be. High pick quarterbacks, high profile quarterbacks who were making deadly throws. I mean, there was a couple passes Mayfield made to Egbuka. There's not many quarterbacks who could have made those throws. You know what I'm saying? So this was a really good game, really good shootout. If you love shootouts and you love I just think these offenses really had the defenses figured out, and this was just a game about who's going to score the more points. Baker Mayfield, 29 for 33, 2 touchdowns, 379 yards. Sam Darnold, 28 for 34, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 341 yards. Rashad White, who I'm actually big on, 14 carries, 2 touchdowns, 41 yards. Egbuka, 7 receptions, 1 touchdown, 163 receiving yards. And then on the Seahawks side, Walker, 86 yards off of 10 carries. And Jigba, 8 receptions for 1 touchdown. Very high-power offenses. I'm sorry, the NFC is going to be really tight on who makes the playoffs, because I think both of these teams can really make the playoffs. And actually, the 4 teams we've talked about so far, with the San Francisco 49ers, the LA Rams, the Buccaneers, and the Seahawks, they all can make the playoffs. They all are playoff bound teams. Now, I'm not saying that all of them are going to make it, but as of right now, they have the caliber to make the playoffs. Now, let's go ahead and move over to the next game. We're going with the Denver Broncos against the Philadelphia Eagles, which, you know, the narrative of the Eagles and what a lot of people have been saying played out in this game. And sometimes the outside noise and the outside narrative can seep into the locker room. Did it? I don't know. But I know that the Eagles threw the ball way more times than they wanted to. Now, they kind of got themselves caught in a position late in the game where I felt like they probably felt like they had to get away from the run and pass the ball a lot. But it definitely seemed like they made it a point at the beginning of this game to get A.J. Brown involved, to get Devontae Smith involved, and to throw the ball a lot more. Now, whether or not that was a decision based on the narrative that they are a boring offense, sorry, and they can't throw the ball, whether or not those decisions were made based on the outside narrative, I don't know. But I will say this: the Eagles should have won this game, and they should have won it easily. And that's the one problem that I have with the Eagles, is that they've managed a way to play at their own pace and to be able to go in and win games in many different ways, in many different styles, without having to really throw the ball 30 yards, 40 yards, air it out, do a lot of these things that take a lot of risk in games. And so sometimes they rely on their defense. I'm going to tell you just like this. Looking at this game, it seemed like in the second half, or especially late in the second half, it looked like the Eagles defense had zero resistance. It looked like the Broncos just marched up and down that field and did whatever they wanted to do. And then that put pressure on the Eagles offense to have to throw the ball. I got my cousin coming up. He wants to weigh in on this game. Let's see. There we go. What's going on? What's going on, cuz?
What's up, cuz? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, right on. Yeah, man, like you have a fair assessment of this game, man. But remember, you and I talked before the football week even started, and I told you, I said, as long as the Eagles don't succumb to the outside noise, they'll be fine.
Yep.
But that's exactly what happened. You got to play your brand of football. I don't care if they got Jerry Rice and Art Monk lining up. You got to understand, if you're a run-first football team, you're gonna come up against some clubs who have a stout run defense, and they're gonna force you to throw the ball. The weapons are already there. You don't use your gun unless you got to. So I feel like they was looking for targets to shoot when it was unnecessary.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Hey, cuz, when you can you hit mute real quick?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There we go. Boom. Okay. And look, I told you, we had this conversation. I totally agree. And because when I watched it back, the Eagles are better when they are running the football first and passing the ball when they feel like it. And late in that game, when they had to pass the ball every single time, that's not the football team that they are. But I am glad that this happened in week 5, because I think it works really well for the Philadelphia Eagles, because, hey man, we tried it. We got outside of ourselves. Let's get back to what we do. Let's manage the clock, manage the run, and let's go back and win football games. I think they're going to realize it feels way much better winning football games than just getting everybody touches and lose it. But because what did you see in the Denver Broncos that maybe you knew or didn't know before this game?
As far as the Denver Broncos go, I saw this last year. Sean Payton is a scary fella. I mean, I, sometimes people, talk. Sometimes people put too much stock in coaching, but then sometimes people put too little stock in coaching. And I feel like Sean Payton is the type of guy who has his mind set on a certain brand of football that he likes. He knew when he saw Bo Nix pre-draft, he saw the kid and he was like, this is our guy. He knew what he had in him and he knew what he wanted him to do. He's been around the block more than a few times. He knows the way he's going to attack a game. And like how you were just saying about the Eagles, excuse me for my noise in the back. I'm making some chicken Alfredo, so I apologize for the noise. So the Eagles, it's good that it happened to them in week 5. But if they can succumb to the opinions of the public that easy, I mean, I'm not sure that it won't happen again. If they can get scared about players being disgruntled and all of that when they're winning football games, it can happen again. And back to the Sean Payton Denver Bronco thing, Sean Payton is a man on a mission. He had job offers and he set out for years, and then he waited till this opportunity opened up because he saw something in the Denver Bronco organization that he wanted to get started. And I just think it's coming to fruition now. I mean, I think they're a good football team. I think they proved that last year, and I think they're only going to progress as time goes on.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they look very, very good, and the fact that even with having a young quarterback, they did not get discouraged when they were down 17-3. So really high on Bo Nix, 24 for 39, 1 touchdown. Jalen Hurts, 23 for 38, 2 touchdowns, 280 yards. Saquon Barkley, only 6 carries for 30 yards. I mean, that tells a story in itself. But then we're going to go ahead and hit to, look, a lot of these teams are playoff-bound teams. The Washington Commanders against the Chargers. And what's so crazy about this game is that with Daniels coming back, I thought that it was going to take a week. I don't think it took that long for him to get his feet under him and for him to really play well. Looked like his favorite target of the day was Debo. And Debo, from 49ers, I'm glad he got a new home because I feel like his career had kind of ran its course with the 49ers. The Commanders took command of the game, and I think they did it with defense. I felt like Justin Herbert had a very hard time figuring out where to go with the ball. Had a very hard time managing the rush. And I also feel like this reminds me of the Chargers who underachieve. And one thing about this Commanders team, especially on defense, I'm gonna say offense and defense, and with their coach, this group of guys they have together, with Bobby Wagner and just the ball club, they don't bow out. If you're gonna beat the Commanders, especially when they got their quarterback, you're gonna have to beat them. And the Chargers are still stuck in this thing, to me, and this is what stops Justin Herbert, for me, from always being considered an MVP candidate or even a super elite quarterback, is that they can't figure out some of these games. And I felt like this was simply the reason why they got beat. Washington wanted it more than them. They would only be able to put up 10 points. They could not figure out how to pass the ball. Let me go through the stats real quick. Jaden Daniels, 15 for 26, 1 touchdown, 231 yards. Justin Herbert, 166, 22 for 29, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Krosky, 14 carries, 2 touchdowns for 111. Justin Herbert, he was running for his life. 4 carries for 60 yards rushing. Debo Samuels, 8 receptions, 96 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 5 receptions, 58 receiving yards. This Washington team is going to be hard to beat. They're going to be hard to beat. I know they got some really tough games coming up in NFC East. The NFC East is always tough. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night. So it was really good that the Washington Commanders are 3-2 now, and they went to LA and beat the LA Chargers. Cuz, what do you have to say about your Commanders? Because these are your Commanders. I borrow them from time to time. See, one thing when you move away from home, you start rooting for the home teams. You start doing that all the time. So I borrow the Commanders from time to time, but they your team, cuz. But let me know what you think about the win.
That's a great line, man. I like that. You borrow the Commanders from time to time. Look, we welcome it because I feel like everything we get, we earn. And I don't know who made the schedules. I forget that group of folks, what they call them, but man, we got a tough schedule. I feel like, everybody's in the league is obviously an NFL team, and they've got NFL caliber players. Some teams are obviously more talented than others, but man, we got a tough road ahead. I feel like if we lock in though and play again, like I was saying about the other games, our brand of football. See, sometimes you got to make people play your style. And if we can force the other teams to play if we can dictate the pace of the game, regardless how tough the opponent is, I feel like in anybody's arena, we have a chance to win. I hope Terry McLaurin is progressing well. We got some key players back this past week. One of the best blocking tight ends in the league, John Bates, a very underrated player. The stuff that he does is not going to show up on the stat sheet, but if you're a fan and you recognizing what's going on out there, you can see the key plays and the key blocks that he makes. He's one of the main people that gives Jaden Daniels the time to get those throws off. And I feel like we had a very good performance, and this is what I really took away from the game. We were able to move the ball the way that we were without Zach Ertz getting a single catch. So with Bill Krosky Merritt running the ball, and again, that's another thing that we spoke of before the season. I told you that when we drafted him, that was going to be a problem for B-Rob, who is now a 49 on your squad. That kid has got a ton of talent, and he's not even scratching the surface yet. So I feel like the future is bright. I hope, again, we can lock in and clamp down and really, really just get our sea legs under us and continue to play our style of football.
Yes, sir. And even when he fumbled in the game, he did not get discouraged. And that's good to see in a lot of young backs is when they fumble the ball, especially with some game left, they do not get discouraged. They continue to actually step up and run the ball really well. Let's go to our Sunday night game, which was the Patriots versus the Bills. Man, I had a feeling the Buffalo Bills were going to lose. I had a feeling. And the reason why is because I felt like this is another team who just been like barely winning games. They should win by a lot more. And they've been having to like pull it out at the end and do different things like that. But the New England Patriots really took it to them. And this Drake May and Stephon Diggs thing, I'm going to go ahead and say keep an eye on it. I'm going to say keep an eye on it because, Drake May went 22 for 30, 273 yards. Stephon Diggs had 10 of those receptions. Buffalo could not cover Stephon Diggs. Now, I don't know if Stephon Diggs was just like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm going back and playing Buffalo. I'm going to show out. Or this is just what they're going to be. But Sunday night really felt like, for the first time in a little while, that the New England Patriots, their identity is solidified. And they got their guys that they want to push forward with. There's not a lot of experimenting going on. Mike Vrabel, you know what I'm saying? He knows the Patriots way. And I think he's just continuing it with a new group of guys. Great win for a young quarterback like May. Josh Allen, 253 yards, 22 for 31, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Josh Allen also led him in rushing of 53 yards. But this wasn't the Bills' best day, and I think they just got outplayed. That's one thing about the NFL. You can get outplayed if you don't come with your A game. And I think they've been beating some teams without playing their A game. And I think they thought that maybe they were going to come in here and, they were going to play against the Patriots and not bring their A game and still be able to beat them. And that didn't happen. And so, in a division where you got the Bills, you got the Jets, you got the Dolphins, the Bills are going to have to deal with the Patriots. They're really going to have to deal with them. So we will see what happens next time they play. But I think that was a really, really good Sunday night game. But the Bills are going to have to figure something out. I'm not going to panic about the Bills. Still think Josh Allen is having a really good year. I still think Bills is a top team in the league. And I also think that they're probably going to go to the AFC Championship game, but there's some things early in the year that teams have to get out of the system, and we're starting to recognize it now. I think Week 5 is around the time of the year where you start to recognize some of these tendencies, some of these things that teams need to really work on, and the Buffalo Bills have to just stop playing to their competition and start playing to who they are as a football team. Did you catch that game Sunday night?
I did. I caught that game, and it was a very good game. At one point, I thought that people were trying to make it more than what it was. I think they were trying to go back to the rivalry of old when they were kind of, I guess. But Drake May, I was semi high on him coming out of college. I watched quite a few of his games. I saw that he was a talented player. But I think the thing that got me more perturbed than anything about this game, and look, I like the Buffalo Bills. I'm not a Buffalo Bills fan. I like the Bills. I like Josh Allen. But what I don't like is all of the analysts calling Josh Allen the best player in the league. I don't like that type of talk. Rubs me the wrong way anyway. You got all of these guys out here, they train at their craft, and again, some guys are better than others, but you got an elite class, not an elite person. You have an elite class of players out there. So to give this guy the title of being the best player in the league, now this was a person who was trashed coming out of college. Even his first years in the league, he got, and I mean, this is no fault. I'm saying this is the analyst perspective of him. They were talking about he was too reckless, too this, too that, and now all of a sudden he's the best player in the league. I think the Buffalo Bills are a good team, but I don't think they're as good as the league would like them to be. The Buffalo Bills have a ton of holes on defense. Now, if they want to propel them into this face of the league team and try to dethrone the Chiefs or the Eagles or whoever the case may be, that's going to be a narrative that the league is pushing. But again, I think the Buffalo Bills are good, but I'm not sold on what they're trying to make me believe they are.
And that's facts. I totally agree with that. But the thing is that with the Ravens performing how they, and look, all these teams we talking about can really just get it together and really figure it out, because I still believe that the Chiefs are going to figure it out. And that's the game we're going to talk about next. I believe that the Ravens are going to figure it out to some sort of degree. They really need to figure out their defense. So I believe that the Bengals, Joe Burrow is out. I really believe that the AFC is up for grabs this year. with a lot of teams being able to come out of that conference. And his other team I'm going to talk about. So let's go ahead and segue right into the Monday night game, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cause I'm gonna go on a limb, and look, don't cut my head off, cause I could be wrong. Next week you could be like, you remember you said that last week? But I'm gonna go ahead and say something right now. With the Jacksonville Jaguars, and look, I know there's some great receiving cores in the NFL, but I'm going on record right now, and I'm going to say that with Trevor Lawrence, the receiving core of Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, Brenton Strange, who's the tight end who got hurt last night. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, he'll be well. Parker Washington and De'Ami Brown, I'm going to say that is going to be the best receiving core in the NFL. And the reason why I say that is because I think all of those guys have great hands and they're very hard to guard. Now, I saw it against the 49ers when we played them. And I think they have in Jacksonville, not only are they an underrated team, but I think they just they have an underrated defense. Devin Lloyd had the interception, took it back 99 yards. He's an incredible player. Their defense is incredible. I think they have I'm sorry, I think Jacksonville is a really, really, really good team. They're gonna have to stick to it. You know, injuries gonna pop up. People gonna miss games. They're gonna have to figure out how to win. But now we're not talking about Trevor Lawrence as a rookie or as a first-year guy, second-year guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a professional quarterback. And I think they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I thought the Kansas City Chiefs kind of was getting their stuff together. You know, they got a lot of guys back who were injured. Xavier Worthy, he got injured again last night, so hopefully he'll be back. But you know, Patty Mahomes was spreading it. I mean, especially against the Ravens, which that doesn't say much because the Ravens defense isn't that good. But I just thought that the weapons that Patty Mahomes have back with Worthy, Tyquan Thornton, Travis Kelce, Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, who else am I missing? Juju. That offense was really going to click and they were going to start putting some games together. But I just think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are that good. I really do. And they seem like they're very well coached as well. I was looking at Travis Hunter and just looking at how he played, and I like the way that he played last night, because it wasn't like they were overplaying him. It wasn't like they were forcing him on the field. But it also showed that once he catches the ball, he could do a lot with it once he catches it. And then he had the really good catch down the field where he jumped up and got it. But all these guys are dynamic. I think they are a team to watch. And so I'm really proud of the Jacksonville Jaguars and what they did last night. Did you catch the game?
I did catch the game. I thought it was a very interesting game. I agree with you on the young, youthful exuberance of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I think more so than anything last night, Kansas City beat themselves. Now, Jacksonville had something to do with that, of course. They did what they were supposed to do. They did what they performed the task that they were sent out there to do. But Kansas City played some sloppy football at some very key points, and it was a very uncharacteristic Andy Reid coach team that I saw last night. They're not going to be to their full strength because Xavier Worthy was actually questionable going into the game. They didn't know if he would play or not. And when Mahomes has his full complementary receiving core, and I say a healthy Worthy and Rashee Rice, when he has those two guys on the field Tyquan Thornton can play slot. Juju can play slot. When they can spread the field wide like that, rotate with Kareem Hunt and Pacheco in the back, then I think they'll be a force to be reckoned with. Right now, they've been kind of just first aid kitting it through. So I think that it shows their resilience to be able to even have the games under their belt that they've won thus far with that patchwork ball club right now. But I expected more discipline from them last night. Again, Andy Reid coach team. Jacksonville reminds me of my Commanders at midway through the season last year. I think they're playing with youth, and I think they're playing with a short-term memory. They don't really, and like you said, Trevor Lawrence, he's been in the league for some years now. He's I think he's getting to the point where he can take command of an offense and take command of a team, but he's got a lot of young pieces around him. So I think those guys are playing with the mindset of just not knowing any better. I think that, like you said earlier, with the rest of the AFC getting it together, like I think that they will. Everybody probably except for the Bengals, with Joe Flacco being there, the Bengals probably will be able to pick up a couple more wins than they would have otherwise. But I think the Baltimore Ravens will get it together. I think Kansas City going to get it together. The other teams that we kind of expect to be there, I think they're going to come full circle. And then I think Jacksonville is going to have to dig in. And then I think that coaching, whether they're well coached or not, I think that's going to be a telltale sign then.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I don't know if I've ever seen this before, but I realized Trevor Lawrence, he plays with his wedding ring on. Did you pick that up during the game? I don't think I remember ever seeing a player play with their wedding ring on. But
I saw. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Yep. I saw that, and it was gold, and I saw a few diamonds in it.
I know.
This wasn't the rubber whatever they called
Yeah.
It wasn't that. He had a real live ring.
I know. He looked like you know how you go out and fix your car. You're like a mechanic, and your hands are sweating and green. That's what it looked like. It looked like he was fixing the car, but he was out there playing a real NFL game with his wedding ring on.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So that was a really good game last night. Just resetting the room. This is Said Linus, Virtue.News Sports. We do this 2 times a week. We do a recap show of the prior week, and then on Thursdays we do a preview of the week ahead. So now we're just going to get into the top 5 MVP rankings. Then we're going to get into a couple just quick hot topics, and then we're going to go ahead and end the show. So right now I'm going to get into my top 5 MVP rankings through week 5. And you know what? This has been kind of moving, and this week is the most iffy week I feel about my top 5 MVP rankings, because I feel like that somebody could literally take my whole 5, take it out, and put in a whole different 5. This is the first week I've ever felt like that, but this is my 5, and I'm sticking to it for right now this week. We will see what happens next week. So number 5, we got Jonathan Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. He is first in pretty much every single category when it comes to running the football in the NFL. Number 4, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 touchdowns on the year. I would say numbers-wise, playing great, also with Jared Goff, but also Detroit could arguably be the best team in the NFL, minus that hiccup against the Green Bay Packers. We will see, but Amon-Ra St. Brown coming in at number 4. Number 3, Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry. Them throws he had against Seattle, Buccaneers being 4-1, I have to put Baker Mayfield at number 3. Number 2, I have Jalen Hurts. And I'm judging Jalen Hurts not by the numbers. I judge Jalen Hurts on how well he controls that offense and how well that offense is ran. I still have Jalen Hurts at number 2. And number 1, I have Josh Allen. I think that Josh Allen I think that big win The first game of the year against the Ravens really propelled him. And I think that right now he's still hanging on. This top 5 list, you could probably just jumble these guys up and relist them. Sometimes I do give quarterbacks a little bit of benefit of the doubt because the MVP race has become mainly a quarterback race. But these are the top 5 guys I got right now. What do you think of my list?
I think it's a pretty good list. I would subtract a few and add a couple. We have some of the same guys, but and you're right. Usually it's a heavy quarterback driven perspective that most people look from. And I won't rank them from 1 to 5 or from 5 to 1. I'll just say the top 5 guys that I think are making the biggest splash right now and really showing off. Jonathan Taylor, Emeka Egbuka, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Baker Mayfield, and Puka Nacua.
Hey, look. I'm glad you threw some other guys in there because those guys are actually having really good years. Especially Puka, really having an excellent year, especially with Devontae Adams around the other side of him, having a incredible year. But I'm glad you gave love to a lot of guys who actually are not quarterbacks on that list. So we're gonna talk about just coming up in these 3 hot takes. Then we're gonna end the show out. There's another guy who people are talking about should be in the MVP race, and that is Dak Prescott. I mean, so I don't want to come off as sounding biased because I don't like the Cowboys, but at the end of the day, you have Stephen A. and some other guys, Drew Brees, are talking about that Dak Prescott is having an MVP type season. Now the Cowboys got a really good win against the Jets, which doesn't say much because I mean it's the Jets. They won 37-22. But let's see on the season, Dak Prescott is thrown for 1,356 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He has the second most yards among quarterbacks, tied for third with 10 touchdowns. QB rating 76.5, which is third among quarterbacks. A lot of people are placing him in the MVP race. I don't think so because sometimes you get tired of, and I'm not saying this is warranted or if this is right or if this is wrong, but sometimes we get tired of guys performing numbers-wise very well in the regular season, and in the playoff, they don't show up. And sometimes that leaves a sting on the way you perceive them in the actual regular season. And I think this is what Dak Prescott is going to be judged with. He has really colorful numbers, but doesn't really mean anything when Dak Prescott doesn't perform well when the games are on the line. And I think that's the way we have to judge Dak Prescott. So I do not have him top 5 in my MVP race, but numbers-wise, he's having a good year. This just also reminds me of another quarterback who used to do this same thing, Matthew Stafford, when he was in Detroit. He would have some of the best numbers, but when the game was on the line or when they got to the playoffs, he would not show up to win these games. And so I do not have Dak Prescott in the MVP race. I also want to highlight Jonathan Taylor, who I do have in the MVP race, who is among number 1 in all I'm not gonna say all categories, but 94 carries first, yards 480 he's first, 6 touchdowns. He's number 1. And the Colts are 4-1. And Daniel Jones, I know is Daniel Jones happy or what to get out of New York? Because I mean all the trials and tribulations that man had in New York. Now he's in Indianapolis and they're 4-1.
He's ecstatic.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny because Malik Neighbors, before he got hurt, he said it ain't the quarterback. He said remember when DJ was here? He said it ain't the quarterback. So that's letting you know something about what's going on right there in New York. Cuz I wanna talk to you about Dak Prescott. Am I right about these are just empty calorie numbers that Dak Prescott always have?
Great way to put it. Great way to put it. Empty calories. I mean, Dak can play the position. I don't think anybody would dispute that. I know a lot of times Cowboy fans will get, beside themselves and bash him when they start to lose because, they will hit that losing streak as they do. But the dude can play the position. But I don't know if it's going to amount to anything as far as them being a successful ball club. It looks good for Dak. Those are the things he was able to use as a bargaining chip against Jerry to get that contract that he has.
Yep.
And it looks good when you can do that. When you can just keep peppering Jake Ferguson and Devontae Turpin didn't play, so he had basically he had a tight end, a running back, and a receiver. That's what he was able to win with against the Jets. So they're in the same division as us, so that schedule is going to tighten up. We'll see how that starts to look down the stretch. But, I mean, I agree with you. Dak is playing phenomenal football right now. But is that something that can stay consistent, especially with the strength of schedule?
Absolutely. And so that's going to be, like I say, the NFC East is a very, very tight division. And so we'll see how it shapes out and if he's able to play well through some of those really big games. My man Jerry Jones got fined because he was out there and at the Jets game waving to some Cowboy fans. Had his Super Bowl rings on. Then he flicked off some fans. I'm trying to look at how much it was. He got fined, but I think it was like $25,000 or something like that.
You muted, cuz.
Oh, my bad.
There you go.
Yeah. So Jerry Jones got fined. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact number, but I think it was like either $25,000. I think it was $25,000 for flicking off some of the Jets fans.
He's so mature.
He's so mature. And if you look at the reason why he said he did it, he said that he was actually trying to, he said it just, he was trying to say hi to some of the Cowboy fans and point to some of the fans. But, when he put his Super Bowl rings on or whatever, he ended up using the wrong finger to point at the fans. And it's like, bruh, that's...
Fred Sanford? Arthritis?
I know. He said it was a mistake. He used the wrong finger, which is hilarious. But and the fans were having a good time with it. I mean, fans go to games, they look up at Jerry Jones, and he flicks them off. That just makes their day.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, he had a little quick fine. And then also news that came down today was Joe Flacco is involved in a trade, and now Joe Flacco is going to the Bengals. For a fifth round pick. So Cleveland Browns let Joe Flacco go to somebody that's in their division.
Yep.
Which to me speaking volumes about what they actually think that Joe Flacco has left. But the Bengals, watching them the last couple of weeks has been unbearable. And I told a couple people, I said if they didn't get another quarterback in there, Jamar Chase was going to pull a hammy and just sit out the rest of the year. He wasn't going to go through with what they had on the field, to throw the ball. But I'm wondering this, and I could be totally wrong, but I'm wondering if the Bengals inquired about Shador and ended up with Flacco. Because if I'm in the Bengals front office, even though it's just a fifth round pick, I'm not going to get Joe I think Flacco has showed us he has nothing left. So I don't know what I would love to know exactly what happened with this trade. Did the Bengals inquire about Shador? Also would like to know for the Browns, is Shador QB2 now, and so this is the way it's going to go for the rest of the year. Do they plan on playing Shador, or do they plan on playing Dylan Gabriel for the rest of the year? How's that going to work out? And how quickly is Joe Flacco going to get on the field in Cincinnati? I'm hoping it's very quickly, because I mean, he's 40 years old. You don't go get him just to have him sitting around.
Yeah, it should be immediately.
Yeah.
He should be on the field now, because watching the Bengals play is like watching a silent film. Like you said, it's unbearable.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's an interesting point that you bring up. As far as them, the only reason I could really see them inquiring about Shador is because they've got a makeshift offensive line, and going to get Methuselah to take snaps.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense when you can't protect what's my man name? Joe Burrow. When you can't protect Joe Burrow. So that will be the only thing that will really make sense as far as inquiring about Shador from my standpoint. The thing that does make sense to go inquire about Joe Flacco is get time enough to do a 3-second drop. He can put the ball where it needs to be, but there's no guarantee that time is going to be there.
Exactly. So we're going to see how this rolls out for both of these teams, especially teams very rarely trade right within their division.
This is the first time, not to cut you, but this is the first time they've traded together since '99, if I'm not mistaken.
See, that's crazy. So we're going to see exactly how that pans out. But that's our show for the recap, Week 5 recap. Once again, we're going to do the preview on Thursday. So make sure you download the Fanbase app. Make sure you follow at Said Linus. Make sure you follow at Helicopter Dad. I'm sending you some more love. This is money, cuz. So this turns into money. If you click the heart up top, you can see how much money you got for the day. You know what I'm saying?
Good word.
Yep. So make sure that you download the Fanbase app, follow us at Said Linus at Helicopter Dad, so that you are notified. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we go live, make sure you join the camp, Virtue.News Sports, so you are notified anytime we go live. Make sure you are continuing to go to Virtue.News for all your news needs and everything like that. And this episode will be up. And it will be everywhere where you find podcasts, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere. So we will be back on Thursday looking towards Week 6. Thank you for listening, and I'll holler at y'all later. All right,
Great
peace.
show. Great show.
Yep, thanks.